Hello, beautiful people. It's Sinderfam. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be checking this video from the Whatever podcast. This has a very interesting title. We're going to be checking this, and it's in regards to 304s. So, we're going to be checking this together. Let's check it out.
Mercedes, you described yourself as traditional.
I am.
Now, you said you were a dominatrix for a year. You lived/worked in a swinger club and didn't have sex for a year.
Well, working there, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I was about sexual freedom before it was viral. Not sure what that means.
It's like, I think like as you grow up, it's like you think that, anything that is taboo, most people want to do.
We need you, bro. Get over here. Here, sit in the chair, bro. We got a beautiful open chair for you.
Most of the time, people, like, I think that in growing up or whatever, it's like sex is taboo.
He's in pain.
Why is he in pain?
He's
Having to deal with things.
I'll pray for you.
Go ahead.
All right. Like, basically, like, I'm not into the whole like body count culture and like the whole thing about like, it doesn't matter. I'm just being sexually free and like all that shit. Like I've kind of like lived through that, and I actually envy girls that have a lower body count because I went through like my wild times, and I'm like, I've learned through life. It's just like, make a list of what you want in a partner, become that, and that person will arrive. Like that's the way to be. And it's not about like I was crazy and I was on substances like when I was much younger, and I was making real bad decisions, but I've changed my life around, so I'm not, but I am all for, like, I did wild out there shit. I was a dominatrix for a year. I was
just 1 year.
Yeah, it was a little bit much. Like the whole fucking having slaves and shit. I was being, this one woman I met, she was like, do you want to be a dominatrix? So she was like, I'll teach you. I have my own dungeon. I was like, okay, why not? I always used to say yes to everything. I mean, I left home at 15. So like I have had a wild life.
Do you want to explain what a dominatrix is for our dear friend Aspen?
It's like, it's basically like bondage, it's BDSM.
What is
Like,
BDSM?
you basically are, it's sadomasochism. You're tied up. You tie up the person.
So just like really kinky stuff.
Yeah, real kinky stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many different levels. I don't really want to go into like all the intricacies of like the mentals with it, but I was under the tutelage of this woman, and thank you.
That's a good word.
I read voraciously as a child. I realized that was her whole life, and I was like, this is a lot. Like I couldn't even leave I understood the kink, and I understood why people did it. And a lot of times we'd have to like make contracts in order to, people would be like, I don't want to be like abandoned. I don't want this. I don't want that. And you get them comfortable, and then you push those boundaries. The things they said they wouldn't do, you push. Reason being that it's actually more emotional and therapeutic to like push a person outside of their
You ever
fear.
whip
Like,
anybody?
yeah-ish. I mean, it's not like it is in the movies necessarily. There's a lot of like, we would lock a person in a cage and then go to lunch because they didn't want to be abandoned, type of thing. Or
What? And lots of people are into this type of lifestyle. Like, sometimes I ask if it's a fetish because, what? Lock people in a cage? And you hear some people be like, they would hurt themselves if somebody leaves them and all of that.
Or, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of crazy, but I never got naked.
Wait, did they pay for that?
Yeah.
They paid to get tortured?
They pay
Yeah, of
well.
course.
They pay well.
Yeah, they do pay well. And some people like to, then there's like that financial thing that I've heard you.
Findom?
Yeah.
Financial domination.
It's like, you can pay this bill for me. Tell me another bill I can pay. No, like, you're like.
Where are you finding those?
The thing is like, it wasn't for me. I did it for a year, but the woman I was working with, she was really unhappy, and I just didn't see, I couldn't even leave the dungeon and go home. I'd have to go to somewhere else first because in case somebody was like following me. It's just quite the life. It was interesting. you know, but
You said that you feel that maintaining your sexual energy is for your partner only. In your
I
notes.
believe that it's important to maintain your sexual energy
Okay.
and have it with your partner only.
What about you? You mentioned something about AI. Something about
Oh,
AI.
because when you have like a lot of those girls who are on OnlyFans on here, I'm usually like sitting like yelling at the TV. I'm like, ah, like these girls need to work on their skill sets. Like, because at the end of the day, like they're like, I need a high value male and all this stuff, and they need to be making this. And it's like, mama, AI is coming. And those crazy dorky guys that you are like making fun of that aren't as good enough for you or whatever, those are the ones making the AI girls who are going to take your job on OnlyFans, and those guys are going to be making the money.
Well, wasn't there that story that was in the news a few weeks ago about that somebody on AI
Well, they're already
had
doing
an
it.
OnlyFans and they made like $1 million?
Yeah, no, they're
in a
already doing it
day.
because guys know what guys want. They can make the AI, like have AI make the thing, and then girls are out of a job. Now what?
Damn.
Well, definitely. I
Wow.
mean, there are those AIs on OnlyFans, and I mean, I think a lot
With
of the
how
guys
real
that
it's
are,
getting
What's
better.
that?
It's so real now with
Well,
the
it's
next
gonna
one.
it's
World
gonna
is
get
ending.
so. I mean, some of them are very convincing. The AIs.
The Instagrams that are all AI,
Yeah.
that are like perfect. It's like that's what they want,
Yep.
and they're making money. And so it's like, oh, these girls are actually getting edged out of their. They haven't cornered the market.
It's
And
true.
so the
It's true.
guys will be making money and the decisions.
You said that you have a theory of how to fix the entire broken system of sex, how to change society for the better.
Oh, it's a deep one. I just think that I feel like throughout the ages, like we've actually treated, like sex is one of the most powerful gifts that we have, and it's magic. And if we would actually treat it the way it's supposed to be treated and respected it, like I said earlier in the podcast, like it can create babies. It can create a whole nother human. Like if you were to channel that and stop like just disrespecting it, like spilling your seed, doing porn all the time, like getting all like, I just think that like our world would be in a better place. And I feel that there's like powers that be that are above. It's not just the guys who are just chasing, like guys, like girls who are like empowered by being on OnlyFans. It's like guys are only sitting there in their fever pitch, you know, like right there in that moment. And then what happens? They come and they close the fucking thing and they walk away. Like that's all the power. You have the power for that. Like it's they're not. That's not wifey material, like what you were saying.
True.
And it's just,
True.
if we would actually like retain our seed and treat it how it's supposed to be treated, and we taught our children that way, to not, that there shouldn't be like I'm gonna just go out and, you know, have a bunch of sex and figure out like where my partner's gonna be. Like if you honored that and you kept it like close to the chest, and you were like, you come from two parents who were absolutely in love and like waited to find each other. It would take a couple generations to fix this. But like if you were made from love, like you would know what love looks like. So
And yeah, I understand and I get what she's trying to say. The society we live in is now promoting Hoeflation, in the sense where uh, women will say, oh, because men do it, so also the higher the body count, the more empowering you are. So at this point now, lots of women are going in full force to the point where they even take pride in it. It's more like, if as a woman you don't have this X amount of body count, you've not arrived. And some people, like, lots of the time, people don't even know like the value. They don't even value themselves at all, because all of these things is fun for a while until it's not.
Love creating love.
and so then like these kids would go out and like,
It says something.
but like if you were made from love, like you would know what love looks like.
Made from love creating love.
And so then like these kids would go out and like they would explore the world and like, you know, try to create things, businesses, this, that, and the other. And then if they found somebody and the vibes weren't on, they'd be like, you're awesome, move on. But when you find that person, because we'd be so attuned to it, you'd actually like end up changing the world with love if we actually respected sex and what it can do. And I also think you wouldn't have a bunch of NPCs running around and a bunch of extra people in that sense, because you wouldn't have frivolous unions making unwanted people.
It's also the closest you can get to another person. Like, you're quite literally inside of each other.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, they also say that, like,
Brian.
you know, like, if you actually got into, like, Kundalini and, like, you went into, like, you got into, like, the whole energetics of sex, like, they would, all of the, you know, the crazy emperors in China, how they said they would only spill their seed when they were making a baby. Well, I think that they actually retain their seed all the time because all it takes is one sperm. And so if you were to consciously, like, release, and that human were to be the one that was made, that's some powerful shit.
I don't know, man.
That's pretty close to God.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It does.
You mean you, like, can consciously be like, yo, balls, only release one sperm.
At that point, this is like a pipe dream, but at that point, we would all actually be spiritually attuned enough to actually pay attention to, like, our spiritual levels and, like, where we're at, and we'd be able to, like, consciously connect with another human being and be able to consciously make another human being.
But I'm more like thinking about, are you saying that, like, as a dude, if you meditate or, like, get on a different astral plane, that you can actually, like, control
Yes,
your
you can.
shit?
Yes, you
so
can.
only one little swimmer
Yep.
goes out?
Yep.
Like your best swimmer?
Like your best swimmer.
Your best swimmer.
Yes.
Nickelodeon donated $100. Take notes, 20-year-old 304s. When we tell you you will turn into a 40-year-old cat lady, this is what we're referring to. A woman trying to convince you to stop hoeing so she can find a man.
Whatever. I don't care. I'm not
What?
first of all, hate cats, but
Do you want to
like,
respond? Did you want to respond to that?
oh, I don't give a shit.
did.
Like,
Oh.
he's
He said
mildly
whatever.
retarded. Like, that's
Oh,
cool.
oh.
Like, I'm gonna convince you to stop hoeing. Yeah, stop hoeing. I don't think it's a good thing for fucking society.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay. All right, that's good. That's
Like-
good. You said you watch the podcast all the time. I'm always so frustrated because I can go deeper and be a great female voice to the conservative men you have on the podcast. I have facts that have been discussed, and I can connect the dots that could help open the minds of these OF girls. I think
Kind
you
of like where I was going with all that.
Okay,
yeah.
I see. Okay, I'm still a little confused by the, like, is that's the thing guys can do? They can
100%.
just shoot out just one sperm.
If you actually, like, go into, like, retaining your seed and, like, learning how to do that, there's a whole process, and, like, that actually, like, you keep your energy in, and then you channel it upwards, like, through breathing processes and everything. There's, like, a whole
But, like,
like thread on it.
Wouldn't it? I mean, like, if the best, like, let's say you don't do that, isn't the best sperm gonna make its? Actually, that's not true. I was gonna say the best sperm will make its way. Like, it's
The strongest
best
swimmer.
you know. But then you end up with, like, maybe not. all right.
I'm just saying, like, that's like the ideal version. I'm just saying, like, if you were to retain your seed more than
Where
spilling
do you have to
it.
Google that to figure that out? Like, how to just send one sperm out? Because I might be interested.
It's a practice, I would suppose. Yeah. So.
You got to give that to NBA players so they stop handing out so many NDAs. You know, if
Right.
they can just practice.
What is an
We got
NDA?
what do we got here? Oh, we have moving on to Jasmine. Jasmine, you said you're a
But exactly what she's saying is really interesting because now you see with the way we are in the society, people promoting Hoeflation, promoting single parenthood, which is not making sense. And this is the thing, the rise at which we now have it is so crazy because now is a trend. It's almost like if you're not a single parent, something is wrong with you. Or if you're not in the Hoeflation business or Hoeflation world, something is wrong with you. And lots of the time, these women, they like, because they are young, they think like they have all of the time. But at the end of the day, it gets to a point where it's no longer exciting.
Jasmine. Jasmine, you said you're a reformed party girl after seeing the destruction it was causing my life and surviving an OD. What did it mean to you to be a party girl?
So in terms of sexual activity, there wasn't a ton of that as I was in a relationship for a good chunk of time. But for me, I think I had a group of girlfriends where I would just like drinking nonstop, doing all sorts of other things, which is why I ended up nearly losing my life when I was 21 years old. And that really changed my life for sure. And I went from being somebody who would so frequently be out partying, like drinking. It was like my lifestyle was so chaotic and it was so toxic and bad. And I was just surrounded with people who affirmed that lifestyle for me because they were all doing it too. And somehow we were all functional until that incident happened. And, you know, I ultimately ended up saying, like, I can't do this anymore. This is like, I'm literally not going to be here anymore if I keep doing this. This is horrible. And I quite literally cold turkey cut off my ties with my entire friend group at that point. I spent a very lonely summer. And, you know, I don't really drink much anymore. I still do occasionally, but it's been crazy to me to see where I used to be, like going to clubs all the time, going to raves all the time, spending so many countless nights, like in some random person's basement until the sun rose. Like it just awful stuff. It makes me feel sick to even think about how I felt back then. Like it's just, you see it all the time where there's so many things in today's culture and in the narratives that just like push young women to like want to go out and be fun. Like, yeah, you're going to be fun. You're going to go to Las Vegas on your birthday and just all that stuff. And then to kind of reflect now today from like, here I am and my life may be more boring, but it is exponentially happier. And it's something that I wish I would have known back then, so I could have never fallen into that trap to begin with. And it's why I said earlier too, like you become the company that you keep. You know, I came from a very loving family for sure. I had all the supports in the world, and you still fall into it because that's who you're around.
You said that you're heavily opinionated when it comes to relationships, women's behavior these days. Is there anything specific?
I think a lot of it, you know, I kind of alluded to it there, but in terms of women, and I know that she got kicked off, but even before with what she was saying when it came to, you know, like being a slut is empowering. And to me, I think that that could not be further from the truth. Like there is nothing more empowering than keeping every piece of you as close to you as you possibly can, and like waiting until that right person comes around. I also, too, you know, in terms of OnlyFans and stuff, that's a really big way that it's marketed, is that it's empowering and, oh, feminism, we love ourselves, we're proud, we're confident. And I think that pride is something that people should really keep an eye on, because it can absolutely destroy you. If you start to let your ego and pride take the wheel, that can take you downhill very fast. And in terms of OnlyFans too, it's just this fascinating thing. I'm like, what on earth is empowering about making a man billions of dollars a year while you just get chump change in comparison? Like OnlyFans was created by men.
And a scarlet letter on the internet for the rest of your
Yes,
life.
that too, right? And like, it's like there's nothing empowering about that whatsoever.
Exactly. There is nothing about it that is empowering, but I mean, the society lies to women or lied to women. Tell them, oh, it's empowering, go for Hoeflation and whatnot, do whatever, have multiple partners because it's going to be empowering. Men do it all the time, so do it as well. And then at the end of the day, they come out to say, oh, they wish they knew better, they wouldn't have listened to other women, they wouldn't have listened to. But I mean, it was fun while it lasted. And this is the thing, when you keep talking about this, then you hear lots of people be like, oh, well, they don't care. Well, no, they're not going to listen to you, or they're not going to listen to what you've got to say. But I mean, lots of people are telling you this because obviously you're hurting yourself more. You think you're hurting other people, you're not. You're hurting yourself more. And then society is left to deal with you or deal with the mess you created. I mean, that's the narrative we see. It is now very popularized, especially on social media, where people be like, oh, people get like almost a trophy for it. Because I mean, getting in business with the inflation market or whatever, or high body count because it's empowering. That's the trophy they get, empowerment trophy. And feminism or feminists encourage that as well. But they don't tell you the truth. They lie to women. And women easily follow or buy it. But this was an interesting conversation. Regardless, let me know what you think. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I would really love to share that. Make sure the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.